the other page too. That's my issue. All right, so we are live here. And then what I'm also going to do, I'm going to fuck with this too. Refresh this and see where we're at. Thanks for being part of the inaugural.
My absolute pleasure.
We have a guest, Chewy, the drinking cat.
Dear Lord, Chewy, how much in the water?
All right. Well, we're live on Happy Buds. Now maybe I can share that to maybe I can share it to the other page. So,
Yeah.
see how that works too. So I'm going to go to South Shore Live and see if we're on there. One day I'll have a producer. I used to have a dealer. Now I got a producer. No, we're not going live here, but I think I can copy the link and let me just, happening now? It says it's happening now. We're going here.
Yeah, it's
Are we
'cause of the
going
event.
live? Well,
You got to find that restream link that's on
Live
Happy
video?
Buds.
well,
That's what it is. You do the
well, I got this going on, and we'll figure out how it's going. Are you on, can you go to Happy Buds real quick? And you can copy that post, and you could put it on South Shore Live. And just, that's pretty much how we're gonna have to do it now. You know, Paul left me hanging. I gave him 3.5 hours.
There
I
you
love
go.
you, dude.
I'm looking to find it.
That's the first shout out of the night. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to South Shore Live. And we're going to just share that over to there, and then we can go to a share fest here. So,
There you go, copy link.
see, it's my first Mac. That's how I figured out how to do
There you
everything in
go.
life. And
Yeah.
then Mac had 2 Macs left at Sears. She told me to go to Windows, and it's been Windows ever since. You know?
I think it's copied.
We have 2 viewers. I think it's me and Joanne. Nice.
But it'll pick up.
Killed it.
There you go.
We're killing in Bulgaria, dude.
There you go.
I've got like
Put it on
followers in
South Shore
Nigeria. It's crazy.
Oh, it's all those bots. I think every day in the closed group we have like 10 or 15 of the
Oh yeah.
Indian, Nigerian, whoever.
Well, shout out. I think Debbie Diaz is watching us. So good evening, everybody.
Hey,
We're
Deb.
gonna get the show running in a second. As soon as we make sure, is that on?
It's on live group.
I understand, but did that go on to the link? How'd you put the link on? Did you copy and paste it? All right, good. So I just go to Happy Buds and I can share from there.
Yep.
Would you mind sharing it on to? Oh,
That's loud.
we
There
are
went my
so-
ears.
I know. We are so close to being there, guys. So good evening. I'm going to give this one more hoot and holler. And then we're going to get the show on the road. I'm going to tag you, Taya.
Sure.
And then you can start sharing it.
Yeah.
We appreciate you taking the time here. And, hey, Vicky, how are you? Good evening, everybody. We're here live from Apollo Beach. We're just experiencing, not technical difficulties, but just figuring out how everything is going to work in today's setup. We normally have 2 of us sitting next to each other. Teo's with us. Going to introduce him in a second. So this is the part of the show that I ask people to please like, share, and tell your friends to join us. We're going to be on for an hour tonight. We're live from Apollo Beach. We're going to be spotlighting local businesses, the history of Apollo Beach, some good times, things that are happening. And that's about it. You're welcome to join us. You can join in live. You can join in via chat with us. And I have the pleasure tonight to have someone who I actually became a friend with. We met 10 years ago. And I appreciate him coming on. Some people may know him. He's a very low profile guy. First person who can guess who it is gets themselves a prize. How's that? In the meanwhile, though, I'm just sharing this to a whole bunch of groups, and I would love everyone to join us live. I'll give you some hints. He smokes a cigar, and he has a windsock named after him. He is the mayor of Apollo Beach. Subsequently, never up for re-election, and it seems like the keeper of the history of Apollo Beach, Mr. Teo Leonard. Thank you for becoming a friend. Thank you for taking the time to
absolutely.
meet me. This is no BS.
Yeah.
We met each other 10 years ago. We found ourselves bouncing in with the same crowds of people now in and out and decided to get to know each other. So please tell everyone a little bit first about yourself, and then
man.
after that, we'll go a little deeper. So everyone,
right.
Teo.
Hey, pleasure. So my name's Teo. We moved to Apollo Beach a little over 20 years ago. I have a great wife. The funny thing about my wife is everyone walks into my house and they look at my living room and they're like, "Holy crap! Your wife is so cool to let you keep all these heads in the living room." Because when you walk in, there's there's
I heard the bird first.
Oh, the bird's on the other side, but
Well,
yeah,
that's what I heard first when
We
I
have the
came
other. But my wife is a big game hunter, so we have a bear and bobcat and different types of deer and an Asian black buck and pronghorn antelope so it's one of those funny things when you walk in, you don't expect a bunch of heads to be
Yeah,
shot
it's
by
kind of
a
like the Addams Family in
by a
some
girl,
respects.
you know.
Just who walked in there and was like,
So, but I mean,
where'd you come from?
well, that's like the $1 million complicated question. I was born on Fort Bragg, and then lived in Indiana. Left to drop out of high school to race bicycles.
Cool. Yeah,
of
we
all
talked about
things.
that school. I love
And,
bikes too. Which is
So
great.
I rode across the country both ways, Mexico to Canada and Pacific to Atlantic twice. Ended up going to Purdue.
Yeah.
And we made the Final Four.
There you
I
go.
got my
Congratulations.
my
He made
Final
it.
Four
He's the first person to ever get me interested in
in basketball.
In basketball. And that's the truth. It took a lot.
Yeah. So when I graduated from Purdue, I went to California. I wanted to get the furthest away from Indiana as possible.
yeah.
So as I was getting job offers, I'm like, okay, Houston is further than Minneapolis, so we're gonna go Houston next, and
Okay.
and then LA. So bought a boat, become
Time
a
frame?
boat bum. Late '80s.
Late 80s?
And
Gotcha.
bought a boat, became a boat bum,
There you
and
go.
had a ball. I lived next to all kinds of interesting people, a lot of famous people in the marinas and stuff in LA. But they're the secondary story. Just the friends you meet that became lifelong friends that you can call at any time.
Yeah, we talked about that today. I mean, that's what it's about. When you meet somebody and you connect with them, you can pick right back up with them,
Yep.
and you really care about them, other than what you can take from them.
Yeah, and so at a point in time, I was running low on funds. I kind of took my retirement in stages, and I got my thing here too.
Yeah, my
Thanks.
cat
Okay.
broke this
Okay, yeah. So there you go. But
Tastes like salmon.
that's bad. The ended up going to Minneapolis for a weekend. It was the next. I just decided to get out of town, and the next available flight, and met my wife, and I'm like, it started to get cold and snow, and I'm like, I'm going back to
Warmth.
LA, San Diego.
Yeah.
There's no way. And she started ordering me LL Bean flannel line jeans and turtlenecks, and I'm like, okay, now it was like manageable. And then we made it 5 years. But it wasn't bad because I had the house on Jekyll Island. We have
No, I get it,
a
but-
family home on Jekyll Island, and we still had the boat in San Diego, and so we were gone a lot over the winter. But then it was like, all right, let's move to
Warmth.
a place. So we looked from Oriental, North Carolina to basically Galveston Bay, and Apollo Beach. There were just so many things that were winning for Apollo Beach. So we bought a house basically off the internet, flew down, walked around, wrote a check, and
that was Apollo Beach.
and then like 5 months later, I came here and stayed. But it was great back then. We had, I think there were 1,178 homes in Apollo Beach. There was no Mirror Bay. There was no South Shore Falls.
Now I'm going to time out right
Yeah.
there. This show is an Apollo Beach-based show. Oh, that's only because that's what I know here. I'm going to interject here. Apollo Beach, when I moved here, had no beach. Apollo Beach was a name. Apollo Beach was a podunk town, and that was 10 years ago, and he's going back at least 10 years before that. We're a little south of Tampa, where the weather right now is 80 degrees, sunny, and beautiful out, and that's why we chose to be here, plus go Bucks.
Yep.
And, people know Bradenton. they know Sarasota, they know Tampa, they know Ybor. No one knew Apollo Beach. I mean, I threw a dart on a map to find this place. I mean, that's how obscure Apollo Beach was.
Oh, and that was our case. What happened is we saw it showed up for nothing, except a realtor had posted about Mirror Bay was going to be open in the
Grand
future,
opening.
and you could come in down the road and buy a lot and all that. And we're like, where the heck is this place? And so it was funny. So we buy the house, and I'm talking to my grandfather and said, hey, we're moving to Florida. And he's like, oh, where? I go, oh, a little place you never heard of. Because my grandparents retired to, when I was real little, my grandparents and great-grandparents, they had a place in Newport Richey and Tarpon Springs. And then they migrated towards Ocala. And my grandfather goes, well, where? I said, what's the little town of Apollo Beach? Well, I played the opening round of golf at the Robert Trent Jones course when they built it. We almost bought the house at the end of on Balboa, right at between Wisteria Lane and
Wow.
or on Bal Harbor between Balboa and Wisteria Lane. And he goes, there's a red brick house, but I just couldn't justify spending, $30-some thousand.
$30K.
And I'm like laughing because I'm like, well, we bought a house on Wisteria Lane, and so my grandfather's telling me about these places, and so when he retired, he rented those condos as snowbirds out at the end of Little Harbor, which is Bahia Beach, but those original gray clapboard condos on the water. So my grandparents retired to Ruskin,
Which is
next
crazy.
door, and used to play golf in Apollo Beach. Almost bought a house 4 houses down from us, 40 years earlier.
But it was typical
bizarre.
Florida living, though.
It was. It took just a couple of minutes to get to Ruskin. We had the only Chinese. You laugh now, right? We have a gazillion Chinese restaurants, and the only Chinese restaurant was the Golden Booty, and it was
Where's
called.
that?
It was the Shenanigans, lit
no
by
way.
fire. Yeah.
No
so,
way.
So it was.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah.
Shenanigans, from what I hear.
Yeah.
I got into the
Alibi
I got booked
Cruise
there.
Lines.
All right. I got booked there. The place burned out.
Lit it up on fire. What is that? The girl's on
Whoops.
fire.
Hold on a
But,
second. Magically disappeared. Isn't that amazing? Just like another booking, just like
Exactly. But yeah, so the Golden Buddha, and it was Bahia Beach, and you had the captain's quarters, which is now Hooks,
that. Yeah.
and we had the Holiday Inn became the Ramada right when we bought the house. And
Murph and the Murph Tones, which were
and-
playing there that night.
and they had a great tiki bar, so we actually had a beach at that point
that
in time. And from the Holiday Inn or the Ramada down to Andalusia, those houses, I forget the neighborhood that's there now, none of that existed. Circles had just built the larger inside dining room, and I think there were 5 or 6 tables outside except for the little tiki bar. You had Sidelines, the best group
Sidelines.
and the Anchor, which is where was it JJ's is now, that had the best grouper sandwich bar.
I heard that. I heard the food.
Oh,
I heard the food was actually pretty good in Apollo Beach at one time. When I came down here, the food, the only places that you came here was Circles. It was good. I'm not knocking it now, but it was really good. And then I heard that place, the Anchor, had good food.
Sidelines was excellent, and it was funny so we had picked some neighborhoods off the internet. We flew down, and we're like, let's hit some houses here, let's hit some houses here, and we were pretty flexible. I wanted sailboat water, and Apollo, we hit a bunch of places, and we kept coming back to Apollo Beach because we stopped, and as we pulled into town, it was that old style. And we have a family home on Jekyll Island on the beach, and it kind of reminded me of Jekyll. When you came in, the Coldwell Banker had an old wooden A-frame realtor office there across from Beef O'Brady's. The Publix, the Winn-Dixie.
There was space between lots. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you'd see a house, and then, like, and then 4 houses down because there'd be a lot, and then a house, and the house was really not a newer house.
No, and Symphony was somewhat built up, but not completely built
No.
up. And Andalusia still had a lot of vacant lots, and there were only 2 or 3 houses across from Alpha's, which is
That
all
were
now.
done.
Yeah, they were. We looked at a lot there. I think it was $61,000 for the lot, and I was like, but then we're looking at the smokestacks, and
That side has, but again, they say that side's really nice too.
it
know?
hides. We have friends that are there, and I was at a party there not long ago, and I'm like, this is
It's pretty quiet.
kind of should have done that. I like that 3-story house idea. I could
like
have
that
like an
too.
8-car garage,
Let it rain. Just That's it. No worries.
It's all good. But yeah, we like it. It's that's how we ended up basically in Apollo Beach.
So if you'd like to join us, you can join our actual visual chat with us. You can also chat with us online here if you have any questions about Apollo Beach. I want to tell you a little bit about me. I've been here. I'm a kind of Florida, 50-50, Jersey, Florida, Pennsylvania kid. I was here in the 70s, and then I moved away. So if you don't know me, I'm Howard. I own South Shore Cleaning Supply. It's a family business. I've got a day job too. I've been in Apollo Beach for about 10 years. And when I came to Apollo Beach, I liked it because it was empty and desolate. I liked that it was close to Bucs Stadium, that there was opportunity here. It was affordable. It was really affordable here. Been here for 10 years, and I've been watching the sprawl. And a lot of respects with the situation, a lot of people have moved down here politically or socially. They're just loving Florida. They're just loving Florida. And when I lived here, when I was 5 to like 13, I lived on the other side of Tampa. I lived on Davis Island, and I lived by Del Mayberry. And at 12, I was ripped out and brought back to hell, and then I scrapped to come back down here. The point is, in that 10 years that I met you, the entire landscape of this place has changed.
completely.
I think that I kind of got the tail end of it, like how I got a little bit of the 70s because I was in
Yeah.
high school but I didn't live the 70s. You lived the 80s, 90s, 2000 kind of Florida lifestyle here. Now you also have a job. You also do many entrepreneurial things. What do you think now the dynamic is compared to how it was? Do you think it's good for this place? Do you think it's bad for this place? What's your take?
So it's 6 one, half dozen the other. When we moved here, I go back to like Hurricane Charlie, which was August of 2004, and all the neighbors got together and rallied
Sure.
around each other. We put, I had hurricane shutters. A lot of people didn't, so we put plywood up on everyone's. We took the big boats out of the end of the
You should go to like
canals.
84 Lumber and go down the street and get lumber for everybody.
Yeah, and back then, so at that point in time, you had Cox, but if you wanted Home Depot, you went to Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of the same way. Winn-Dixie had just built the new Winn-Dixie, which is now the storage center, and the newspapers were stored in the old Winn-Dixie, which then became Publix. Richard Fagan owned that shopping center. And sold to
Supermarkets
Publix.
here in Florida are dramatic. They have a lot of action. In my entire life, the only supermarkets, too, I've ever seen go out of business or get changed hands was A&P and Pathmark in 40 years. It's credible down
Oh, yeah.
Cash and carry,
Yep.
and gone. This guy's in, this guy's out, this guy's in, continue.
But in regards to the camaraderie, is just everybody got together, and a lot of people evacuated. It was just neighborly.
Yeah.
I guess was the right way to say it, right? And now, and you knew your neighbors, right? So we move in, and neighbors came over and
Sure.
introduced themselves and brought stuff, and we were doing some remodeling, and people were helping. And now we look at the people that have moved in. and we don't even know them. I mean, we have these neighbors across the street, and I've said hello to them 4 or 5 times, and they've never introduced themselves or anything. I'm like, hey, I'm Teo, and they just kind of ignore me. I think it's because they don't like my flag. They came from up north, and they have, they want to change the political landscape to what they are escaping.
We can go there right now if you want to do the biting at the beat. What are you talking about? Ah!
you know.
There's a reason why, and not just that too. There was a vibe there was a reason why I moved to Florida. When I lived up north, and I'm not knocking this. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. That's right. But you don't have to stay there forever. And the point is that between the pressure, the traffic, the day-to-day bullshit of keeping up with the Joneses down here. I mean, look how I dress. Look how you dress. No one has any idea what I do, what you do.
Yep.
Just, it's a lot less ostentatious. I loved that vibe. One of the things that I loved about Waterset when it kicked off at first was the phase one kind of local thing. But now, when there's a storm that comes up, the first thing is an opportunity for some guy to charge you to put up your shutters.
Right.
That whole did a 180.
20 years ago, that did not exist.
No.
Nobody was going to charge anybody. No. The guy who lived next door to me was old. He was an absolute ass. Anyway, there's a long story, but no way was I going to let this guy cut his own lawn. At 85 years old, out there with a damn mower. So every week I'd cut my lawn, I'd go over and cut his lawn. And
you didn't appreciate it, but you appreciate it.
Never got a thank you or anything else. It is what it is. But that's what you do. That's the way I was raised. And I think back to like how it was in Charlie. Everybody helped everybody regardless of any ulterior motive, money gain or whatever. Now there's a storm and exactly that. Oh, I'm put up shutters for $200. I'll do this. I'll do this. And it becomes a money market thing. Oh, I'll go to the grocery store and get you some water or whatever, and it's going to be for $20. I'll do your grocery run. But that didn't exist back then. No. It was just a very
I'm heading to the store. Do you need me to pick you something up?
All the time.
That's
and so in that respect, all this neighborhood growth is kind of a downer because the people are just ruder. And I don't know if it's the growth or if it's just the way that the world is changing as to why that's becoming more and more of a negative, and you're getting let down more in life. So.
Oh Lord, that's gonna be fun.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get her into the show here. I'd like to invite another person here. Can you need to? Hey, it's Vaughn, everybody.
Hey guys.
Hola.
Pull her back a little bit. Monitor her down. Hold on, she needs some introduction music.
Oh Lord.
You need like a Star Wars saber for her.
It's true. That's the upgrade.
By the way, I'm downstairs.
We can tell.
You're loud AF too. All right, everybody. So this is the young lady that essentially introduced me to Teo and said I was all right to him.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And Vaughn is my friend as well. And the whole point of this show, Teo, is I really want to keep this local.
Yep.
There's local businesses. And in that respect, though, this surge has been wonderful for some businesses here.
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
Apollo Beach Meats could not have survived in the economy that we live in now with 1,100 people in this town.
No.
Couldn't happen.
Nope.
What a great local place. Opportunity for myself and my family business. We came here, there was no carpet cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And on a side note, I made sure that I keep it affordable so anyone can afford it rather than getting their brains blown out. The entrepreneurial spirit in Apollo Beach is fantastic. Unfortunately, though, with the carpetbagging and the interloping of certain people, it is taking away from the mystique and the quality of Apollo Beach.
It has, bar none, absolutely. And we're seeing people from other neighborhoods poaching in, and they're poaching to become Apollo Beach. You know, it's
Well, Apollo
it-
Beach is essentially it was the history of Apollo Beach was it was kind of like Gibtown South, right?
yeah,
And then they rebranded it,
yep,
which is all in fairness. You know what? We all live on brands. Let's face it. Nothing different about any human except the shoes they wear.
yeah,
It's that simple. The brand on their shirt, but they're all the same shirt. It's all about branding. Packaging's 11%, and 75% of a product's branding. They rebranded Apollo Beach, and when they rebranded Apollo Beach, they made it so it was more palatable to get some more people down here.
Well, in a way. So in the, I think it was early 50s, Dickmans and Coors created the name Apollo Beach and that. And it was just a dead area of...
I saw the videos.
Well,
Awesome.
long before those videos, but this goes back 30 years before that. You had Ruskin, you had Gibsonton, you had a no man's land, and so they created the Apollo Beach. And there's a couple different stories on how it got named. But then we had the Apollo Beach really stopped at Miller Mac and
That was it, dropped in.
and Tico and 41. And if you look at a bunch of the old maps, and when I shared that one the other day, it was funny because Mira Bay is in North Ruskin, South Shore Falls is North Ruskin, and then you look at in the older maps, it's kind of weird because there was nothing between 75 and 41. This waterset area it's kind of been clouded, so it would be North Ruskin up to about Miller Mac, but then was it South Gibsonton or was it West Riverview
Where it landed.
where it landed? So
And by the way, everyone,
So
it
half
still
of
hasn't landed yet.
half of Waterset as it is today, without the massive extensions to the south, it's all I don't know what it was. I don't know if it, but at least everything
X's
south
on a
of
plot on a map. That's
south
what it
of
was.
Paseo El Mar, which is, I don't know why they didn't just call it Apollo Beach
I don't
Boulevard.
understand either. That made no sense.
Because it means road to the sea, but it
just
stops
changed the
at
name
40.
for a
It
reason.
stops at 41, and there's no sea at 41.
No.
So
So it should have been that's the beach that takes
yeah.
the road that takes you to Apollo Beach Boulevard.
Yeah.
To Apollo
Yeah.
Beach.
Yeah.
It's the boulevard to
Yeah.
Apollo Beach.
Yeah.
It's not much of a beach, don't get me wrong, but it got you there.
we used to have a beach.
We'll get to that in a few minutes
Yeah.
too.
So, but anyway, it on the other hand, it's good to see the growth for the businesses. I'm excited to see so many the small businesses succeed. I think the entrepreneurial spirit is huge because the commute now to Tampa is just an
Ridiculous.
absolute nightmare. Even to Riverview, when I had the office buildings in Riverview, it took like 15 minutes
Oh,
to
yeah.
get from Apollo Beach there. Well, when we sold them, 2 years ago or 3 years ago? Oh, it was when
Two.
my wife got.
Two.
So it's 3 actually. I think it'll be 3 in this summer. Right, because the vaccine came out in 21. So anyway, but
Next topic.
yeah, if we want to go there. So, that was 40 minutes. It took, what used to take 15 took 40. And it was like, all right, I'll work from home. And I think we see so many people working from home, and there's a lot of opportunities for other businesses. So,
Oh, yeah. And people have gotten, I always say this, humans are dirty, they're lazy, and there's opportunities in those business. I mean, DoorDash, all these
Uber.
companies, Uber,
Yeah.
there's no rent-a-cars anymore, just Uber.
Yep.
I was trying to think, what is this town missing? There's no rent-a-car in this place. You know why? It's Uber.
yeah,
So that segment of business is blown away, and there's no opportunity for a rent-a-car place here, but you would think there was because there's so many people that have moved concentratedly. When I moved here, I was house number 47.
yeah,
There's like earmarked 8,000. That's a big number,
yeah.
you know?
And going back to the Uber thing, I never thought we'd see an Airbnb
Oh my.
in Apollo Beach. I mean, what is there to do, right?
Nothing.
Unless you own your own boat, when I moved here, everyone lived on the water.
Sure, it was that was the lifestyle. It was San Diego on the East Coast.
Yep, it was. And you
I
know,
love San Diego.
you could go to Little Harbor, well, Bahia Beach, and then you could go up to the Alphi to the beer shed, etc.
Is
And
the beach shed even still open?
yeah, I think it is. I know Jerry's is still open. I almost ran up there, but it was too windy yesterday. So,
Okay.
but when you look at the growth, it's just so different. But I never thought I'd see all the Airbnbs. I mean, I get it at our house at Jekyll, we rent out and we don't use it, and that I see because
That's a getaway,
half
right?
the houses, yeah, and it's a state park and there's a ton of history and
It's a Palm
and
Beach.
and there's beaches, you know. Although in front of our house it's all eroded over the years, so now it's just boulders, so you got to go a couple blocks south. But in the end, there's all these people that rent houses for, you know, to unplug. There's not a lot of stuff to
Unwind,
do,
get
so
away.
it's good family time. Here,
And you're still 20 minutes away from a Walmart. You don't have to go to like a new country.
right here, it's bizarre because we see all these Airbnbs where people come and hang out for the weekend. For what? To play in a pool?
To go to a
I don't get it.
pool, to get
But that's
away-
what they're doing. That's what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah, they are
Yeah.
right across from us. So
And then they look at Apollo Beach, look on the map, see we have the preserve. They think that's a real beach, and then they find out not. So then they try to go down to Little Harbor and Bahia Beach right there. EG
Well,
City Park. That's about all they got.
A lot
Yeah.
of people they'll do like a 4 day in like Orlando, but by the time you get there from here, now the hour and a half to 2 hour ride each way, it's brutal. Your hotel room and everything else, you've just rented an Airbnb, and you don't have to drive there that far, and just get
Yeah.
away for a few days.
yeah,
But again, Apollo Beach has become a destination, and who knew that was going to happen?
I didn't. I
had
would have said
idea.
no way.
No, I would have bought every piece of property I possibly could have.
Yeah.
It's insanity. Not to be, but it just blew up that much, and we appreciate it, and in a lot of respects. But let's not forget about the local people here and the people that have also grown with us. You don't have to be born here. I've always said that coming to Florida, most people who come to Florida are one step away from giving a shit about anything. That they just want to get away from where they're at. They're tired of the weather, tired of the aggravation. They've been to Florida and they just say, you know what, I like it there. And I want this webcast or podcast, whatever, to encourage things that are local, things that people are putting their time and effort in, rather than just another Pizza Hut on the corner.
Yep. So what's funny is when I meet people and they get all upset because we used to have a condo down in Lauderdale on the Intercoastal, and you could go to dozens of bars and restaurants by the water like we could in Newport Beach. There were a bunch when I lived on the boat in Newport Beach. San Diego, there was just a handful. And they're like, oh, Apollo Beach sucks because there's no destination. There's no destination, right? And I'm laughing going, life is the destination.
That's it.
I get up every morning.
The journey's everything.
When I got sick, I'm like, I got to spend more time on the ocean.
Yeah.
And so every morning, if I can muster the energy, which is becoming harder these days, but up until a couple months ago, it was, 6 days a week. I go out on my kayak and people are like, where do you go? There's nowhere to go. I'm like, man, I head out to the flats. I go 2 miles out, spin around. I see dolphins, sharks, manatees, rays,
That's why you live here.
a gator, and people ask why I leave at the butt crack of dawn, right? Why do I go out at 5 a.m. and go out in the darkness? But when I turn the corner, I typically go to the third or fourth no manatee marker at the edge of the flats, headed south towards Simmons Park, etc. And when I turn around, you start to get the peak of the sun just starting to peek through, and you have a nice 2-mile paddle
As it's poking through.
as the sun comes up. Man, if that's not life, I mean, I thought about it the other day. If that only happened once every 5 or 10 years, you'd see people lined
Oh, yeah.
up.
Without a doubt.
You'd see people lined
People
up.
go on vacation for that.
To view. But because it's every day, people ignore it and it's so bizarre because I started posting it just because of my own laziness to keep myself accountable, because then people are like, hey, get your butt off and go paddle and exercise. So, but there's only a few people that post the pictures of the sunrise,
Getting up at the ass
and
crack of dawn.
That's because they're all still in bed, Teo.
Yeah,
yeah, but they're not in bed. I mean, because traffic is bumper to bumper up
really.
75 at that point in time as well. It's 6:30 in the morning. So
Well, we're all sold a deal that we work for 50 years and we get to relax for about 3 and 4 and die. Um,
I'm just glad I took my retirement in stages. I retired from like 23 to 30 and partied around and then worked, and I worked in between, but that I had no regrets on the being a boat bum. But I think you're right. People are so conditioned to just keep doing all this stuff.
we are going to be dropping our battery very soon, it looks
Uh-oh.
like. We're down to about 40%. So we have about maybe 10, 15 minutes more.
Okay.
So real quick, I just want to go over my thing that I do
Oh, yeah.
every day, the Good Morning Don't Be a Shitty Person t-shirt. For 5 years now, I've been posting this to wake up the world that you do not have to be a dickhead in the morning. It's just that simple.
Yep.
When you're a dickhead to other people. And it's a domino effect of dickheadness. And then, because this is my happy place, Apollo Beach is my happy place. These are about $20. The other ones are $10 that just have this. I have to have a little schluck here because that's my heritage. By the way, happy Passover, everybody. We hope you a very good Passover, and to you and your families, all the well wishes of everybody. So with that being said, we have Pee Wee in the back who's been quiet lately. And you're also welcome to join us on Happy Buds, which is a little bit more of a free forum of guys just having some fun talking about absolute nonsense. And sometimes Vaughn joining us to put us in line with the nonsense or just giving us eyes. So Vaughn, do you have anything to tell us about your experience here in Apollo Beach? You've been here for a long. You're a fixture here too. I've got 2 fixtures here in Apollo Beach, and I said this to Teo. I've been here for 10 years. That's another thing here too. There's a 25% population that moves out every 2 years in this area. I've never seen it. I heard about it. Oh, Florida's transient. I always thought bums were transient, and they are, but for a good reason because they have to move along. These people, though, and I'm not knocking them because they're great customers, within 2 years, make friends, buy everything, put stuff in their house, repaint, do everything. Say, oh, we gotta go. And you're like, how can you leave this place?
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, if you haven't noticed, when they leave, guess where they come back to?
Well, I can tell you, I've been in this area for a long time. I moved away in 2015 for 2 years to go to Denver, and then I came home, got married, moved to St. Pete, and Teo said, "Hey, you want to come over for Thanksgiving?" And I was like, "I miss home," and literally moved back home on Christmas.
Yep. It
Moved
didn't
back
take
home.
long, did it? I'm like,
No, it
you're
took
like,
3 weeks to get back home after Teo invited me back for Thanksgiving dinner. And I will tell you what I love the most about Apollo Beach is, and this is a twofold thing. I love that we are in small town America, but we're close enough to big city America
We
that
have
we
culture here.
yeah, we can just jump in the car, drive to Orlando, go to
Without that.
Disney, go to Universal.
The
We can
Stratus kicks ass.
go to
Ruth
Teen
Becker kicks ass.
Busch Gardens.
Motorworks Brewing Company, man. Talk about cover bands.
Tampa has always, not really the team, but it always had this kind of connotation of just being, one of the, it is the hot spot in the U.S. It just
So,
is right now.
Well,
so
and
what,
it's
what I love about Apollo Beach is it is a community. I can go to Publix. I'm going to run into somebody. They're going to know my name. They're going to
Isn't
know
that
Teo.
great?
They're going to be like, "Hey, Vaughn, how's Teo?" Or they're going to see Teo and say, "Hey, Teo, how's Vaughn?" Whatever it is. I mean, we know
every
as
day.
a joke, "You're so famous," to Teo because it's just a cosmic thing of no matter if I'm in the UPS store, somebody's like, "Aren't you the girl on Facebook with Teo?" or whatever, and I always call Teo and go, "You're so famous," because people know us, and there's people we don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes people are like, "Hey, Vaughn," and I'm just thinking to myself,
Hey,
"Oh,
who's this?
I don't want to mess up, so I just say hey back, but I don't want to say hey John because his name might be Steve, so I'm just like hey back." But
Great to see you. Great to
that's the
see you.
part.
That's the line. Great to see you.
Hey, it's
But
you.
that's the part I love. The part I don't love is that we've been oversaturated with a bunch of people that don't know our small town traditions, and one of them is shop local, support local. And they, when you come here, I hear see people all the time say, well, I'm looking for some pizza place, and then they want to order, Papa John's or Domino's, and they forgot about South Shore Pizza, and they
Yep.
forgot about San Remo's. I
Well,
mean, I could go on the list, and
this page is a forum for that. For
yep.
all the local businesses, they want to chime in. They can't hammer the page South Shore Live, but
Yeah.
be respectful. Put your coupons out there if you need to put coupons out. Share what you can do to be part of this community. It's not always about taking; it's also about
Mhm.
giving. There's a lot of great charities and organizations here that a lot of people have set up. Kitty Corral's one of them. For years, I've been taking care of them. I'm not looking to pat myself on the back, but it's a local one. It's not like you're going like the March of Dimes and you give them their money, and then you find out that the CEO is making 90% of the gross profits of this company. It's local. She takes in sick cats.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well,
and
with that
it's
being said, Apollo Meats. I buy my meat at Apollo
that's
Meats.
it.
I buy my veggies at the co-op. Do you know what I buy
Oh,
at
the
Publix?
co-op, absolutely.
What I buy at Publix is the things that I can't get at those two places, which is
Yeah.
paper towels, toilet paper, box goods if you're buying box goods. But the co-op is an amazing place, and they are struggling because all the people are complaining that there's nowhere to shop. And then we bring something here, and everybody is buying everything at Publix because it's 5 cents cheaper. Listen, don't
Publix ain't
complain.
cheap about anything.
No, and the co-op has great prices. I
Good
mean,
selection too.
I go in there on a regular basis and pick up the vegetables and the fruits.
Hmm.
My
Actually,
kids
right
go
before I
twice
got
a
here,
week.
I had an apple from there.
Twice a
you
week,
know?
my kids go.
Yeah.
And if the extra, they bring over hip
Yeah.
hops.
So
Try it
my
out.
only statement of what you're saying, Howard, is this: all of you small business owners that want business brought to you, you also need to support the small businesses in this area. Stop going to Publix. Stop going to Winn Dixie. I'm sorry. Go to Apollo Meats. Go to the co-op. Go to these places that are local. Eat at the bistro. You don't need to
Yep.
eat at this new First Watch. No offense to First Watch, but it's a public chain.
Somebody did. That's like the tenuous thing that you got. Like, American cars are made in America, but Japanese cars are sold by Americans. See,
Right.
somebody bought that franchise, probably local from here, but it's the real mega businesses that roll in here. That
Well, now we're going to have the Walmart across from Mirror Bay, the Mirror Mart.
you know,
But back to South Shore Pizza, I need to give them a kudos. So, we brought my father-in-law down a year ago, and he has Alzheimer's, and he's in assisted living over here in Sun City, and the caregivers are so great that take care of him,
Local
and
place.
and so uh, when when he was at another place, which then we moved out, we would buy. I would call David at South Shore and say, hey, I want to deliver a variety of pizzas
Coupons.
for the employees.
Sure.
And the the other place, which they sued me for leaving them a bad review, who did not take good care of my father-in-law. The manager took credit for the pizza that I sent over for the employees.
Nice guy.
I'm like, what a jerk! It was a
Douche.
lady, and she's like, I mean, I'm like, really? Because I'm like, I saw the employees. I go, hey, how was lunch? Oh, it's fine. How do you know about it? They go, oh no, the manager brought those in for
Oh,
us.
sure
I'm
did.
like, yeah, whatever, thanks. But so David, every month I simply text David and say, hey, I need it at 2:00, and they don't do delivery before 5:00, right, or whatever. And it's never a problem. He sends me a picture of the pies being delivered.
That's the way to do it.
The employees absolutely love it. And then the one employee was like, had made a comment to the other going, oh, well, we really need a Hawaiian pizza. And, it was all the drama, right? Does pineapple belong on a pizza? So
Could be.
it came back to me on Roundabout. So I'm like, David, just add a pineapple,
Just throw a pineapple
a Hawaiian on the list for that. But I don't have to worry about it. I couldn't do that with Papa John's and be certain that it's delivered at exactly 2:00, so that it's the people at the beginning of the shift and into the shift can eat. and all
It
that
also
kind
has
of
to do with
stuff.
the people,
And
how
it's
long they've been working with the guy too. I mean,
yeah.
when
And
you have
and
good
I
business, you keep
I
good
never have to
employees.
worry. So every month I send a stack of pizzas from South Shore Pizza to the assisted living
they
facility for the
also,
employees.
another big plug for South Shore, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there,
Wow,
is every time that we have a hurricane or
Oh
anything,
yeah.
Teo
that's
and I
cool.
try to raise money to give back to the people that are working during the hurricane, the fire people, the urgent care. And so this last hurricane we had, we were able to raise enough money for 556 pizzas
Damn.
locally. And then on top of that, we also had enough money to buy pizzas for the linemen that were parked on the corner of 301 and 60 in the parking lot there. We fed over 80 linemen up there with drinks, and the pizza owner up there donated all the wings. So if you're in this community, just remember, give back to this community so we can stay this community.
Yeah.
Yep. And if water's set, if there's any vandalism, South Shore Cleaning and Supply takes care of it before it hits the HOA.
Cool.
Yeah, I live here,
Yep.
and that's the tag I got here, and I won't stand for bullshit in my neighborhood. Some guy, I'll tell you, about a year ago, some guy had a trailer on Milestone, which is a thoroughfare in Waterset, and it sat there for like 7 months.
I remember that. Okay.
So someone spray painted it. It's like that's really funny. I appreciate that you don't like him moving his truck, but now you've lowered the value of my home, and I live 10 blocks away.
Right.
So I'll take care of that, and you worry about getting his trailer out of here.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. Now, another thing before our battery dies is that I wanted to give you some time about your fundraisers.
Sure.
We have about maybe 8 to 10 minutes
Okay.
on the battery.
So I have a web development company,
Mhm.
and
Amongst other things.
amongst other things, but my livelihood for several years has been back in the web development business, and I didn't want to be in the web development business. That was a total cop out. Because everyone's a little web designer. Well, we build stuff that other people can't build.
Okay.
Back in the day, we built the online check ordering system for Deluxe and Harlan, so the banks can log in, put in the information, pick the different colors and styles of checks, and the
Got it.
WYSIWYG stuff. So, I don't know, about 14, 15 years ago, we got a call from a company that had been through a handful of other web developers to build a ticket generation system for online raffles for charity. And no one could understand the concept of the raffle ticket number, because as a computer guy or a database guy, it's just an entry in a database table. The numbers are relevant. But when you're at an event, like Vaughn and I have been to so many events over the years, people want that ticket number. And that's your
text.
lucky
They want
number,
that. I got one in my car.
Yep. So
Winner, winner, chicken dinner, that ticket.
dinner. Yep. So I built an online raffle system for charities, and we sell it to web developers, and we have tens and tens of thousands of customers, probably over 100,000 raffles that we do on that portion. It's so funny because I see a raffle, I'm like, yep, it uses my software. So that's kind of cool. But I don't make tons of money on it because it's $99 to $300. But at the same time, what had happened was some of my customers in the website business are like, hey, I'm with the Rotary, or I'm at my church, and we're doing this raffle. Didn't you have some raffle software? So they started asking me about building them a simple raffle site. So I needed a name for it, so we threw it up on Facebook and came out with chance2win.org, chance2win.org. And
It's pretty catchy.
It's a turnkey raffle system, and we've helped over 10,000 charities. It started off as friends and family. It was never designed to be a business at all. I priced it, when I had to release it, I priced it to the point where there's a couple other companies that do it, and they're the typical, I want to talk bad about the competition, but they're typical people that take advantage of organizations. Like when we see these fundraisers for the schools, and
The honor boxes. They
no one makes no money
They
on
make
that stuff.
$150 in the box, and they're lucky to get $6 to the organization.
Yeah, it's absolutely tragic how that happens. And so we did it that our goal is to be less than half of the competition, and we still can pay our employees, a decent
paid.
wage, and they're able to buy a house and buy a car, and that kind of stuff. So, and that's my viewpoint on it. But it's kind of cool. We just completed a raffle for a Jewish organization, a Jewish school, that they normally do about 25, 30
And what kind of time span?
in a period of about a month.
Okay.
So they do a fundraiser, and they raffle off prizes and some cash prizes, like $2,500 or something.
I'm in.
And they're like, we're going to raise 25 to 30 grand. And we're like, okay. And they didn't want to use us because they've been doing paper tickets in person for 30 years, right?
Sure.
And
Mail me 5.
and another school was like, you guys have to use Chance to Win. It's unbelievable. And we just completed that a week ago. They did just over, I think, right over $120,000.
So they did 4 times more than what they normally grossed.
Correct.
At lower expenses.
At lower expenses in terms of, well, it cost a little bit to do business with us. I mean,
Of course.
$3,500, but lower pain level for the management of
But
it.
they're getting
because
significantly
they're not
more
having
results.
they're getting significantly more, and they're not running around worrying about who's got the cash and who the heck has cash anymore, right?
But not just that. How many more tickets can you sell virtually than you could like going to your aunt's house and having to go give her $5 and change, and it costs you 2 gallons of gas when you see her on Saturday?
So one of my all-time favorite fundraisers is for a small town in Virginia. It might be West Virginia, and it gets split between the school PTA and the local volunteer fire department. And it was really fun to watch this raise. The cost of the prize is nothing, basically. So first place, the prize is the firemen go, or firewomen, fire team, right? The firefighters take the fire engine to the school.
Okay.
And pick up the winner with 5 of their buddies.
And drive around town.
And they drive around, they go back to the firehouse, they get to slide down the pole, and they have a pizza party at the firehouse, right? So what's that cost? $20?
I'm in.
And the second place is in the morning, they swing by the house.
Okay.
And pick up the kid with 5 of his friends or her friends and take them to school, and then they do a show and tell and the donuts and stuff. But the kids are in the front, right?
No pizza, but it's okay.
So they were hoping to raise like $1,500, and they raised about $40,000. And what was funny to watch the orders, because this is in West Virginia, right? So they've done this over the years, but people are selling tickets. Well, then you're sitting there, and all of a sudden we got all these orders from Gahanna, Ohio, and I had to laugh because that's like where my sister lives. And then there was Huntertown, Indiana, and then there was outside of Omaha, Nebraska. And what the cool thing about this is, because it's virtual, Grandma and Grandpa are now getting
that's
involved.
What I'm saying. Yeah.
And they're like, hey, Junior's going to win this, so I'm going to drop $500 on to Junior school.
Can you help my this? I can't.
And then the grandmas are at the beauty salon or
Little
whatever,
Johnny's
and
got
going,
this
hey,
event.
you guys need to order, and
it's beautiful.
and then they can just put it in and check out with their Apple Pay and do it. And the management side is great. It's cool helping organizations. United Way, we generate several $100,000 for a car. They raffle off a car for the United Way of Central Georgia, and that helps countless underprivileged people in Central Georgia. We're doing, and we do all kinds of nonprofits. We do a lot of schools, a lot of churches.
How do they get a hold of you?
Just chance2win.org. And
An actual .org, which is a .org, as
Yep.
opposed to
a .com.
yeah, which is called chance2win.org. And you know Teo now a little bit, and you know me, and I think that's about it. We have a little special guest. I don't know if you saw my special guest I had.
Oh,
for you.
perfect. Thank you.
And he's multifold, of course. Which brings us to Happy Buds. I want a few shout outs. Hey Ziggy, how you doing? A few shout outs. Pure Romance, a big supporter of our show.
Hey, Jay.
She has wonderful products, good times for all. Of course, Jen Bud, when you came up here, it smelled pretty.
Yep.
This studio, which I like to, Howard's Playroom, is also used for Happy Buds, which, as the name says, has an odor to it. She takes care of it. She's up in the right-hand corner, over Teo's head right there, and you can reach out for her waxes and stuff like that. We have Vaughn, who is with us, that she's going to be opening up a business very soon, which we'll come on and talk about next month. The Good Morning Don't Be a Shitty Person, also Coy Boys Landscaping. Want to give them a shout out because they're a great landscaper in the hood, and I'm using his stuff. Also, let's see who else I wanted to shout out here. Oh yeah, Joanne Coaching, JD Coaching. She does coaching. She also supplies our refrigerator of love here. If you're thirsty, you can come on up, grab yourself a drink, and every time we mention her, we have to talk about her business. She does local business coaching. She'll help you get on the path. Let you do the work that you do, and don't worry about your business. Leave that to somebody else. Delegation. Learn it. Other than that, anyone you want to shout out?
You know, I want to thank Tango Me Not.
There you go.
So, both my wife and I are sick from the vaccine, and Charlene and Scott at Tango Me Not, and local hair salon there in the Mirror Bay Plaza, they have done such wonders of taking care of my wife's hair. And
your mop now.
And
when
my
I
mop,
met you were corporate looking. You were looking so short hair.
So I used to cut my hair with a Flowbee.
We had that on the show. We were talking about that Saturday.
Yeah, so we had the Flowbee because on the boat.
32-year-old kid never heard about a Flowbee. I'm like,
know.
You got to be kidding me.
So I used to use the Flowbee because when I lived on the boat, it hooked up to the vacuum cleaner, and you can just go like this, and then there's no mess at all. And then when COVID hit, we all kind of got shaggy. But then when my wife got sick, we thought we were going to lose the hair. So both Vaughn and I are like, all right, we're going to let our hair go. So then I let the whole ponytail go. And so I had the ponytail for 4 years. And then it was affecting me in the kayaking when I'm smoking my cigar, and my ponytail was now long enough. It was I cut, I think, 16, 17 inches off my hair. But
you got this now, which is all you need.
Yeah,
I mean, if I could, I'd go here, but Joanne would check off my nut afterward.
Yeah. So I like it. I have I've always had kind of the curly hair if it grows a little bit. I like it. I'm channeling my inner rock star, going back to my rock and roll days.
Yeah.
But
I'm reliving my rock and roll days every day delusionally in my garage.
Yeah, there you go.
And I teach drum lessons. You're welcome to. The first month is free. Anyone wants to come over. There's no commitment. I just like to go out there and loosen out. So, again, we thank you. Please tell your friends if you'd like to join this show. If you'd like to talk about your business, you can. It's free. There's nothing bad about free advertising.
Never.
Unless you're going to jail. Other than that, Apollo Beach, thank you for watching, and we appreciate it. Teo, last words. I'm leaving up to you. What do you think about the future of Apollo Beach?
You know what? And I got slammed by this because I didn't mean anything negative about it, but just be a good friend. I'm at that point in my life where I'm thinking about friends in general, and return a phone call, send a text.
Two-way street.
I have people that send me messages. When I was at the Final Four, I've done everything I ever wanted to do in my life. Bucket list, I didn't have a bucket list because it was there. Then when Purdue hit the Final Four, I'm like, all right, I'm going. So I did the bucket list living, and when we won the first game, I looked on my phone, and I had 100 messages from friends, both text and Facebook DMs and stuff, where 100 people were like, boiler up, Go Purdue, congrats, enjoy, have a good time. And I started crying because
Yeah.
you know, knowing that your friends support you is an awesome thing. And so I posted about, you know, the business stuff that we had over the years where friends burned us or whatever, but just be a good friend,
Be a good friend.
in general. And there's no, just live your life the way you would want your friends to treat you. Don't be a shitty person.
That's it.
And that's kind of my motto as I'm getting older. So,
I'm on the other end of the hourglass.
yep.
And
Unfortunately,
well, it could be fortunate too. You know, I don't know. I'm sounding
Yeah.
like my mom. All
Yeah.
right. And again, happy Passover, whether
Mm-hmm.
you Christian, Jewish, Muslim. Just be nice to each other.
yeah.
Hindu, Buddha, they're cool. They don't fuck with them.
Yep.
And we're gonna say goodnight from live from Apollo Beach, live from South Shore.
See everybody.
We'll hopefully see you again soon. Take care, everyone.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming on, Teo.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
Let's turn this off and end the stream.
That was fun.